Welcome to WYCE's Community Close-Up. We are a weekly public affairs program produced in partnership with the Rapidian, our hyperlocal news service here at the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. Community Close-Up is all about bringing you a diverse perspective of viewpoints from community leaders and nonprofit organizations here in West Michigan. This is WYCE station manager Phil Tower. I got ahead of myself there. I'm in studio with a couple of fascinating people I'm really excited to welcome to the program. Wardell Frazier Jr., Executive Director of The Diatribe, and J-Lin Tamminga, Director of Education at The Diatribe. They are ready to enlighten you and me about a lot going on. It is a busy year at The Diatribe. First of all, to both of you, thank you for being in studio. We're glad you're here.
Yes, thank you for having us.
This kind of took an act of Congress to get everybody together. So this is a big deal. I'm glad we're here. And I'm excited to kind of unpack what you all have going on. Let's start with a high point and the most important thing for people who are probably familiar with the Diatribe here in Grand Rapids, but maybe they don't know what you're all about. I'll let both of you kind of jump in on that. Wardell, how do you explain to the unenlightened what the Diatribe is all about?
In the very simple terms, I'll let J-Lin give a higher level in regards to programming. That's our specialty, but basically what we do is we provide programming for young people through spoken word and poetry and other forms of artistic expression. And we really give young people an opportunity to utilize their voice in the best way possible, giving them an opportunity to speak proudly, confidently, and boldly about things that they feel passionate about speaking about. And I think it's an opportunity for us in a world of where adults tell young people to be quiet. We give them the exact opposite opportunities, telling them to speak boldly and confidently about things that they feel passionate about. And we do that in a number of ways, through school programming, working in the community, and summer programming as well, and other initiatives and programs that we form partnerships with the community to bring along these opportunities to reach young people as well as adult artists as well, and advocating on behalf of artists to be compensated fairly.
Yeah, I like that a lot. J-Lin, pick it up from there.
Yeah, we primarily are in schools right now. We have in-school programming. We are in about 25 to 30 classrooms every year doing our Poetry Empowered program, in which, as Wardell said, really teaches students to use their voice. We explore self-identity and explore how to advocate for themselves and others. We also do an in-school program called Writing to Right Wrongs, which is in conjunction with the Fair Housing Center, which really digs into the ramifications of unfair housing and different historical unfair housing practices such as redlining, and still teach the students to use their voice to advocate for themselves and for others around those different topics. We are a bit limited currently in our after-school offerings because we do not have a building, which I'm sure we will talk about in just a moment, as that will change very soon.
Yes.
But we do have an after-school program that we are offering again this year. And thanks to another community partner, GR MiFi and Rodney Brown, we will be able to hold our summer program there for students in grades 5 through 12 at the first week of August 4 through 7. And then we will have our students perform the following Saturday, and they will be, as also Wardell pointed out, compensated. We always like to compensate even the youngest of our artists and performers. So they will be compensated for their performance in our poetry pop-up show that following Saturday, which is open to the public so that everyone can come and see the amazing work of our students.
I want you to give that date again. I was so impressed by what you were saying that I lost the date. I know it's coming up in August. When is that going to be again?
So it can be found on all of our social media sites.
Okay, great.
It can be found on our website. But again, it is August 4 through 7. That is a Monday through Thursday. It is for students in grades 5th through 12th grade.
Awesome.
So we provide lunch for them. It is a completely free program. We would encourage people to sign up quickly as we do have our spots filling up. We were able to secure grant funding to provide the program for free again. But we welcome students to come to work with us. We do more than just writing. We really try to encompass more of the arts, as we also will be doing in our new building. So while writing is the base of what we do and spoken word poetry, we also incorporate different art forms, and we'll also be incorporating some media and podcasts, learning about those kinds of things. And that is led by our lead teaching artist, Shayna, who is just an absolutely amazing, dynamic teacher.
Shout out to Shayna. She
yes.
used to be a part of the community.
Yeah, she is absolutely incredible.
Her. You all stole her away, and that's okay.
We did, and we're keeping her. Yes, we're keeping her.
That was a great steal. I'm so glad to hear that. One thing I did hear you say, J-Lin, is time is really of the essence. They need to make sure they jump on that opportunity real quick.
Definitely, because we do have a cap, of how many students we can work with. So definitely sign up as soon as possible. Okay,
thediatribe.org, and give a shout out to your socials as well, will you please? Facebook, and just search The Diatribe.
Yes, and Instagram. Okay. Yes.
I want to, if it's okay with you guys, kind of unpack some of the key parts of your vision statement, which really struck me. I did a little bit of program prep because I could just wing it and just ask you basic questions. But honestly, you guys, I was really struck by this phrase of creating art that is informative. I think it's very powerful. I mean, we can just look at art and really not take the time to think about it, but to ask ourselves, what is this art telling me? What did this creator have in mind? And that's a really important thing, because you can teach that. It's kind of like, as you said, I want to go back to what you said, J-Lin, advocating young people to not only teaching young people to advocate for themselves, to advocate for others and a cause. That is a really important, powerful thing. As you said, Wardell, teaching people to speak boldly, confidently, proudly. As someone who's lived my whole life with a disability, I've told others around me there's nothing more crippling than not having the ability to speak confidently and capably as a human, to be able to advocate for yourself using powerful words. We never really take the time to think about how important that is.
Definitely. I mean, and I would add to that to piggyback off that the visual art piece, it tells a story, right? Like if there's a mural being painted, it's informing the community about something. If there's spoken word or poetry being performed, it's telling a story. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've sat in some of our performances alongside J-Lin and just being in the back in the classroom, and there's like literally my eyes are watering because of so many important issues that students are talking about. Talking about parents being deported, talking about like mental health. You can't help but get emotional about those things. And I think for us as a Diatribe, we see the importance of investing in young people, and we see that they are the future of tomorrow. And I think our vision and our mission really speaks to what we want to see the world become long after we're here. I think that we have an opportunity to shape and mold the community of young people and helping them to pass along what we're given. I mean, so I kind of, I feel like the Diatribe can be considered like an incubator for many different forms of art. I would love for people to say like, hey, like this famous poet, they started because they were in a spoken word poetry class with the Diatribe led by J-Lin and Shayna. We want to create those type of memories.
Right. And J-Lin, your specialty is bilingual education, multilingual education. So this is very inclusive. This is not leaving out people who speak a different language or maybe want to feel like they can speak in their native language. That's an important component here.
Yes, definitely. We always welcome our students to write in their native language or to write in their native language and English. I have 23 years of experience as a bilingual teacher, and so I'm able to provide professional development for our teaching artists as as to how they can best serve students who are multilingual learners in our classrooms, because we have a lot of them. So I'm happy that I'm able to equip them, but then also that we're able to empower our students to use their native language and English if they choose to express themselves.
One of the other powerful things in your vision statement at the Diatribe is creating things we've always wanted the world to see, and listening to our community members. We've talked about that, to know how they want to be represented. And let's not forget putting youth at the center of these efforts. Mm-hmm. I'm going to guess that's easier because so many adults have been kind of, maybe they don't feel comfortable at a certain stage in their life. They're adults, maybe they're parents. They've never felt comfortable speaking out. But to teach that to young people, to give them that power to advocate for themselves, for others, for causes, that's a pretty powerful thing. And I love that secret sauce of putting kids at the center of this. It's really wonderful. I wish we could do more with kids on the radio here, because I think it's a powerful thing. And I want to go back to what you were talking about, Wardell and J-Lin, the poetry. Poetry is really a foundational part of the Diatribe, but poetry, let's not forget, for the non-poetic fans in our listening audience, poetry is art, you guys. Mm-hmm. Poetry, let me say that again for our listeners. Turn up the radio. Poetry is art. It really is. Talk about how you use poetry as a way to teach, as a way to express young people, a way to express themselves.
So I joke that I'm not necessarily an artist. So when I accepted this role, I was unsure how, I would be received as coming in as having more nonprofit experience opposed to being an all-out artist. But poetry, in my opinion, gives students and young people the opportunity to learn how to speak with emotion, to learn how to speak with conviction, to understand that there's a story to be told, and it doesn't matter how you tell that story, whether it's you being bold and animated or whether it's, you being kind of monotone. Like all these students are learning how to advocate on behalf of themselves. And however they learn how to do that for the first time or for the 30th time, it's a win in our books. So I'm definitely always inspired by what I hear from them. And I think when you think about disparities that exist in the community, a lot of organizations and initiatives don't move forward because they don't get the input from the people that they are serving. We're serving young people, we're serving artists, and we want their input so that we can be successful in what we're doing.
Well said. We're speaking, that was, by the way, Wardell Frazier, Jr., Executive Director at the Diatribe. Also with us, J-Lin Tamminga, Director of Education at the Diatribe. The website is thediatribe.org. I knew this was going to happen. We've got only a couple of minutes left. We cannot wrap this conversation until we talk about the Emory Arts and Culture Hub. It is a really bright, shining future ahead for the Diatribe. It is something that really is in a point right now where I know you guys want the public to know how important this future home is. You've called this your dream home. Let's talk about this and just kind of give us a quick overview of how significant the Emory is going to be, the Emory Arts and Culture Hub. You have the building. Now it's a part of transforming the building. I've got about a minute and a half for you to share that vision.
So yeah, the Emory is going to be a building that is literally going to be making history. It'll have affordable housing units. It will have an event space for the community to utilize. It'll be our permanent space for our after school programming that J-Lin and her team is working so hard to build out. And it will also have retail space for any businesses that feel as though they want to start or they have already started. It will be that place that you walk in, and no matter, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know what kind of connection you're going to build. But we're really looking forward to it. It'll be a headquarters for our permanent, for all of our staff. And it's a huge opportunity for us to bring something to that area in Burton Heights that doesn't necessarily exist right now. And we're super excited to be a part of that. We still have a ways to go, still have a $2 million gap to hit. But that's why we're reaching out to the community to rally around us and help us meet that goal.
Well, I know there's a captive radio audience that would love to know how they can help. They can begin that journey at thediatribe.org. Real quickly, J-Lin, just your thoughts on the Emory and what it's going to mean.
Yes, we're very excited about the Emory, as Wardell said, and our mission is always to uplift without displace in the community. And so we're very intentional about listening to the Burton Heights community, who are our new neighbors. We will have a venue downstairs, which is the Retort. And if people have their events in that space, they will be given a list of local businesses that we would like to support, in which they can order their food and their catering from.
That's
so we're
awesome.
very, very intentional about being a part of the community with community. And I think that's evident through all of our listening tours that we've done, through the partnerships that we've created. And of course, I'm most excited about our after school program that will take place there. But all of those updates will always be on our website and our socials, as well as we continue to plan and move into the Emory.
You can hear that excitement in your voice for sure. The Diatribe.org, the Diatribe.org. And we're going to have to do a part 2 this fall, you guys, because there's going to be a lot more to talk about, a lot to catch our listeners up on, and I am so grateful. Wardell Frazier Jr., thank you for being here. J-Lin Tamminga, thank you for your time. We need to do a part 2. I knew this was going to fly by.
Indeed.
I want to thank our guest, and thank you for tuning in to WYCE's Community Close-Up, our weekly public affairs program we produce with the Rapidian, our hyper-local news service at the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. That's our program. We'll catch you next week right here on WYCE.